Hello. Welcome. You're here now, and that's all that matters. Whatever this day asked of you, whatever it demanded or expected or pulled from your hands, you can set all of it down now. You don't need to carry any of it into this night. You don't need to replay the conversations, recalculate the decisions, or rehearse what comes tomorrow. All of that can wait. It will still be there in the morning if you want it. But right now, in this quiet moment, none of it belongs to you. Right now, you belong only to rest. So let's begin very simply. Let's begin with your breath. Not to change it or fix it or make it perfect. Just to notice it. Just to feel it moving through you the way it has been moving through you all day, faithfully, without you ever having to ask. Your breath has been your most constant companion today, and now it is the bridge that will carry you from the waking world into this quieter, softer place. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs gently, the way you might fill a cup with warm water, not rushing, not forcing, just allowing. Let the air reach the bottom of your chest. Let your ribs expand softly outward. And hold it there for just a moment. Not tight. Just still. Like a pause between two notes of music. And now release that breath. Let it go through your mouth, slow and easy, like a long sigh at the end of a long day. Feel your shoulders soften as the air leaves. Feel your jaw loosen. There is no right way to do this. There is only your way, and your way is enough. Let's do that again. Breathe in slowly, gently, through your nose. Imagine you are breathing in the scent of something you love. Maybe chamomile, or rain on warm stone, or clean wool on a cold day. Let that imagined scent fill you with warmth. Hold it gently at the top, like cradling something fragile and precious. And release. A long, soft exhale through your mouth. Feel the weight of the day leaving with it. Not all at once. Not perfectly. Just a little bit more with each breath. You are not trying to get anywhere. You are already exactly where you need to be. One more breath now. Slow in. Let this one be even deeper, even easier. Feel your belly rise like a gentle wave. Feel the warmth spread through your chest, into your shoulders, down through your arms, all the way to your fingertips. There is nothing in this world that needs your attention right now. Every email, every task, every worry has been given permission to sleep before you do. They're already resting somewhere far away. In a drawer you don't need to open. On a shelf you don't need to reach. You are the last one to arrive at this rest, and it has been waiting for you patiently, the way a warm bed waits at the end of a cold night. And breathe out, long and slow. Let the breath carry you down, deeper into the softness of wherever you are lying. Feel the surface beneath you holding your weight, the way the earth holds everything, without effort, without complaint, without ever needing to be asked. You are held. You are safe. And from here, we'll move even deeper into this gentle, quiet evening. Now let your breathing return to its own natural rhythm. You don't need to guide it anymore. It knows what to do. It has always known. And as it breathes for you, softly and steadily, like the rain that is beginning to fall outside the window of a warm and quiet place, we'll begin to let your body follow your breath into rest. Begin with your feet. Notice them. They have carried you through this entire day, across floors and pavements and stairs and thresholds, and they have not complained even once. They have taken you everywhere you needed to go, and some places you didn't, and now, at last, they have nothing left to do. Let them feel that. Let the muscles in your feet unclench, one by one, the way fingers might release their grip on something they've been holding for too long. The arches soften. The toes spread gently apart. The soles of your feet grow warm and heavy, sinking into the surface beneath them like stones settling into soft river sand. Now your ankles and your calves. These faithful hinges and pillars that kept you upright, that kept you steady, that bent and flexed and absorbed every step without asking for thanks or recognition. Let them rest now. Let the muscles in your calves loosen and lengthen, as if the warmth of a fire were slowly melting away all the tension they have been storing since morning. The muscles unwind like thread from a spool. There is no more standing to do tonight. There is no more walking. Your legs have earned this stillness, and they can have it for as long as they need. Your knees, your thighs, your hips. The strong muscles of your upper legs, the joints that pivot and support and carry without rest. Let them all soften now. Feel the heaviness settle into your hips, the way water settles to the lowest point of a bowl. Your pelvis becomes a cradle, resting into the bed beneath you. The weight of your body distributed evenly, held completely, supported entirely. Whatever you were carrying today, whatever weight, whatever responsibility, whatever invisible burden sat across your hips and lower back like a rucksack you forgot to put down, you can set it on the nightstand now. It will keep until morning. It does not need you tonight. Your lower back. This is where so many of us hold the quiet stress of the day. The tension we don't even know we're clenching. The bracing against things that haven't happened yet and may never happen at all. Notice it now. And ask it, gently, to let go. Not all at once, just a little. Just enough to feel the difference. Feel the small of your back pressed more fully into the bed. The muscles on either side of your spine softening like warm wax. Like butter left on a sunlit windowsill. You are supported here. The bed holds you. The night holds you. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. Now your belly and your chest. Let your stomach be soft. There is no need to hold it in. No need to brace. No need to protect yourself against anything. The world outside is quiet and far away, and the world inside this room is gentler still. Let your breathing move freely through your abdomen, rising and falling like a gentle tide on a warm shore. And your chest, your ribs, your heart, the broad expanse of your upper body, let it all open and soften and rest. Your heart has been beating for you all day without a single moment of pause, without a single request for help, without a single complaint. You don't need to thank it right now. Just let it settle into a gentler rhythm, a nighttime rhythm, the rhythm it knows by heart. It knows the way. It has always known. Your hands. Open your fingers slightly if they're curled. Let your palms face up or down, wherever feels natural, wherever feels right. Your hands have done so much today. Typing, gripping, gesturing, lifting, holding, releasing, reaching, touching, building, fixing. They have communicated things your mouth didn't say. They have built and repaired and held and let go and reached out and pulled back. And now they can be still. Let them rest on the surface where they lie, as light and loose as two leaves that have just landed on quiet water. Feel the warmth settle into your palms, into the spaces between your fingers, into the tips that have touched so much today and now touch nothing but the softness beneath them. Your arms, your shoulders, your neck. This is where the world presses hardest. The shoulders that have carried everything today, not just physical things, but worries, expectations, The weight of being responsible and alert and present and capable and competent and kind. Let them drop now. Really let them fall. Feel the space that opens between your ears and your shoulders when you stop bracing. An inch, maybe two, of pure release. Your neck softens. The muscles along the sides of your throat unwind like threads from a spool, like ropes being gently lowered. You don't need to hold your head up. The pillow is there, soft and waiting, and it asks nothing of you in return except that you rest upon it. And finally, your face. Your jaw. Let it hang slightly open, teeth parted, tongue resting gently behind your lower teeth. Your cheeks soften. The muscles around your eyes release. Those tiny muscles that have been working all day to focus and squint and read and express and observe. Your forehead smooths, and all those tiny muscles that have spent the day expressing concentration and concern and politeness and focus and surprise and worry, they can stop performing now. No one is watching. No one needs anything from your face tonight. You do not need to look any particular way. Your eyes are closed, and behind them, your mind begins to slow, the way a train begins to slow as it approaches a platform where everything is quiet, and warm, and waiting. Now imagine this. You are on a train. A beautiful old train, the kind they don't make anymore, with polished dark wood paneling and brass fittings that glow warm in the lamplight. It is evening. Late evening, in fact. The kind of hour when the world outside has already gone to sleep and has given you permission to do the same. You are in your own private compartment, a sleeper cabin, small and perfect and warm. The door is closed. The curtains are drawn halfway. And outside the window, the Scottish Highlands are sliding past in the rain, slow and dark and enormous. You are lying on a narrow but impossibly comfortable bed. The mattress is firm and generous, the kind that holds your body without pushing back, that seems to know the shape of rest even if you have forgotten it. The sheets are white cotton, cool and clean, with that particular crispness that speaks of being freshly laundered and carefully folded by someone who takes pleasure in these small acts of care. And over them someone has laid a thick wool blanket in a deep tartan pattern, greens and blues and a thin thread of gold. It smells faintly of lanolin and heather, the way good wool is. The way it has smelled for centuries in these hills. And it holds warmth the way only wool can, wrapping you in a cocoon of softness that feels like it was made specifically for this night. Specifically for you. There is a small reading lamp mounted to the wall beside your pillow, casting a circle of amber light that doesn't reach the corners of the room. It makes the wood paneling glow with a deep, honeyed warmth. the grain of the oak visible in the light like rivers on a map. Each line a century of growth, each knot a small, quiet story. The rest of the compartment sits in a gentle shadow, not dark enough to feel lonely, but soft enough to feel like a kind embrace, like the inside of cupped hands. There is a small fold-down table beneath the window, and on it sits a cup of chamomile tea in a white porcelain cup with a saucer. The tea is still warm. You can see the faintest curl of steam rising from its surface, barely visible in the lamplight, and the smell reaches you, that sweet, green, apple-like fragrance of chamomile, and it mixes with the scent of the old polished wood and the wool blanket and the rain that you can hear but not feel. The rain. The rain is the most beautiful thing. It falls on the glass of your window in a steady, gentle rhythm, not heavy, not pounding, just persistent and soft, the way a friend might knock on your door, not urgently, just to let you know they are there. Each droplet catches the amber light from your lamp for a fraction of a second before sliding down the glass, leaving a thin trail that another droplet will follow. If you watch them long enough, which you won't because your eyes are growing too heavy, you would see that they merge and separate and find their way down the window like tiny rivers mapping the face of the night. Some are fast, some are slow, some pause halfway and wait for another droplet to join them, and then they continue together, as if they needed company for the rest of the journey. And beneath the rain, beneath everything, there is the rhythm of the train itself. The wheels on the track. That low, steady, ancient sound, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. So regular and so reliable that it becomes part of you almost immediately, like a second heartbeat. A mechanical lullaby that your body trusts in the way it trusts the sound of your own breathing. The train sways very gently as it curves along the track, a rocking motion so subtle you barely notice it, and yet it is there, moving you, soothing you, the way a boat rocks on quiet water or the way someone might sway gently while holding a child, not even knowing they are doing it, just letting their body do what bodies know how to do. Outside, the Highlands are vast and dark and impossibly peaceful. Through the rain-blurred glass, you can see the silhouettes of mountains rising gently against a sky that is not quite black but a deep, deep blue-gray, like the color of sleep itself, like the color of the inside of a closed eye. The heather on the hillsides has gone dark for the evening, but you know it is there, miles and miles of it, purple and wild and soft, bending in the wind you cannot feel, wearing the rain like a fine veil. Occasionally, very occasionally, you see a light, a farmhouse window, a distant cottage, glowing small and gold in the enormous dark, and it gives you a feeling of warmth, of kinship, as if someone else out there is also settling in for the night, also wrapping themselves in something soft, also listening to the rain and thinking about nothing at all. You reach for the chamomile tea. The cup is warm in your hands, not hot, just perfectly warm. The kind of warmth that soothes your palms and travels up through your wrists and into your arms like a quiet gift, like a wordless kindness. You take a small sip. The taste is gentle and sweet, with the faintest hint of honey that someone has already stirred in for you, and a note of something floral that you cannot name but that tastes like comfort itself, like the flavor of being cared for. It coats your throat with warmth and you feel it travel down into your chest, settling there like a small golden light. You set the cup back on the saucer with a quiet clink that is almost inaudible beneath the sound of the rain and the train. This is your place tonight. This small, warm, rocking compartment, with the rain on the window and the wool blanket and the chamomile tea and the amber light. There is nowhere else to be. The train is moving, yes, but slowly, so slowly, and it doesn't need you to drive it or direct it or worry about where it's going. Someone else is taking care of all of that. Someone who has done this 1,000 times and will do it 1,000 more, who knows every bend in the track and every bridge over every river, and who needs nothing from you, not your vigilance, not your guidance, not even your attention. Your only job, your only purpose for the next few hours, is to lie here and let the train carry you, and let the rain sing to you, and let the night hold you in its enormous, gentle, ancient hands. You pull the wool blanket a little higher, tucking it under your chin. The fabric is thick and soft against your skin. You can feel the texture of the weave against your fingers, the slight roughness that somehow feels comforting rather than scratchy, like being held by something real, something solid, something that has been keeping people warm in these hills for hundreds of years. The pillow beneath your head is plump and cool on the side your cheek hasn't warmed yet, and you turn your face slightly into it, breathing in the clean smell of cotton and the faint, distant memory of lavender that clings to the fabric like a whisper. The train rounds a gentle curve, and for a moment the rhythm of the wheels changes slightly, not faster, not louder, just a different note in the same song, and then settles back into its steady, rocking meter. You feel this way. It is the most comforting motion in the world. And as the train carries you deeper into the highlands, deeper into the rain, deeper into the night, you let yourself be carried too. Not toward anything. Not away from anything. Just carried. Gently. Safely. Into rest. Outside, the landscape is barely visible now, a soft wash of blue-gray shadow stretching away from the train in every direction. But you can feel it there, vast and patient and old beyond imagining. The Scottish Highlands have been here since long before trains, since long before roads, since long before the first person stood on a hillside and looked out at the rolling emptiness and thought, "This is enough. Just this. Just the land and the sky and the rain falling between them." And that is the feeling that presses gently against your window now. Not loneliness, not emptiness, but a great, quiet enoughness. A landscape that has never tried to be anything other than what it is, and has been beautiful for it, century after century, rain after rain. You draw the blanket a little higher around your shoulders. It is heavy in the way that comfort is heavy, not a burden, but a holding, a gentle weight that says, "Stay, stay, you are allowed to be still." The wool smells faintly of something clean and old, like lavender water left in a drawer for a very long time. Or like the wood smoke that must drift through the villages the train passes on nights like this, rising from chimneys into the rain and dissolving into the dark. You close your eyes for a moment and simply feel the sway of the train, the weight of the blanket, the warmth of the tea in your belly, the rain on the roof, the soft amber light on your eyelids. And there is nothing else. Nothing pressing, nothing pending, nothing pulling at the edges of your attention. Just this compartment, this train, this rain, this night. Just you, settled into the deep leather seat like a stone settling into the bed of a stream. Slowly, naturally, finding the place where you were always meant to rest. You take another sip of the chamomile tea. It has cooled slightly now, and the flavor has deepened, become more golden, more honey, the way that things often become richer when they are given time, when they are not hurried. You hold the cup in both hands and let the ceramic warm your palms, and you notice that even your hands have changed. They are softer now, the fingers uncurled, the tendons relaxed. The grip that held a pen or a steering wheel or a phone all day finally loosened. Your hands are remembering what they knew before tools and tasks. That they can simply be open, simply be warm, simply rest in your lap or around a cup of tea, holding nothing but this quiet moment. After some time, you are not sure how long, because time has become soft and slow and unreliable in the most pleasant way, you find yourself wanting, just slightly, to see a little more of this beautiful train. Not with any urgency. Not with any real purpose. Just the way a cat might stretch and wander from one warm spot to another. Not because the first spot was lacking, but because wandering itself can be a kind of rest when there is nowhere you need to arrive. You sit up slowly in your bunk and slide your feet into the soft slippers that someone has placed beside the bed. They are lined with something warm, sheepskin, perhaps. And they hold your feet the way the wool blanket held your shoulders. the way this whole train seems to hold everything that enters it with care and warmth and no expectation at all. You stand, and the gentle sway of the train is there to greet you, so slight you barely adjust your balance, like walking on a boat in the calmest harbor in the world. You open the compartment door and step into the corridor. It is narrow and wood-paneled, lit by small brass wall sconces that cast pools of warm amber light along the floor. The carpet beneath your slippers is thick and dark green, patterned with tiny gold thistle motifs so faded and gentle they barely register, as if the pattern itself is falling asleep. The corridor smells of old wood and furniture polish and something else you can't quite name. Maybe the ghosts of 1,000 journeys. 1,000 travelers who have walked this same corridor on their way to sleep, each one leaving behind a little of their warmth, a little of their quiet, a little of their gratitude for this gentle passage through the night. The rain is louder here, closer to the outer wall of the carriage, and you can hear it clearly now, a steady, pattering percussion that rises and falls with the wind outside, like breathing, like something alive and peaceful and entirely devoted to its simple, beautiful task of falling. You trail your fingers along the polished wooden rail that runs at waist height along the corridor wall, and the wood is smooth and warm beneath your fingertips, worn to silk by decades of hands just like yours. Travelers on their way to somewhere, or nowhere, or simply to the next warm room. There are small brass nameplates on each compartment door, etched with numbers in a font so old-fashioned and elegant that they look like they belong in a museum of beautiful small things. And you pass them one by one, feeling no curiosity about who might be sleeping behind them, only a gentle solidarity with their rest. At the end of the corridor, you push through a heavy glass door. It swings open with a satisfying weight and closes behind you with a soft, cushioned thud. And you step into the observation car. And oh, it is beautiful. The observation car is the last carriage on the train, and its walls are almost entirely glass. Great curved windows rise from waist height to the ceiling, wrapping around the rear of the train in a sweeping panorama, and through them the Scottish Highlands are everywhere, enormous and dark and ancient and patient, the most beautiful emptiness you have ever seen. The rain streaks across the glass in silver lines, and beyond it, the dark shapes of mountains and valleys roll past in slow, majestic silence. The ceiling is wood, dark and vaulted like a small chapel, with small recessed lights that glow soft gold like stars trapped in amber. The floor is carpeted in the same deep green, and there are armchairs, not modern ones, but old, deep, velvet armchairs in a rich burgundy, the kind that seem to have been designed by someone who understood that the purpose of a chair is not just to hold a body but to comfort one, to cradle it, to say without words, "You are welcome here, and you may stay as long as you like, and there is nothing you need to do except sit." You choose a chair near the window, the one in the corner, where the glass curves around you on two sides, and you sink into it. The velvet gives under your weight, soft and deep, and the chair holds you like a cupped hand. You tuck your feet up beneath you and pull the small cashmere throw from the armrest across your lap. It is impossibly light and impossibly warm, and you wonder briefly how something so thin can hold so much heat, and then you stop wondering, because wondering is a kind of work, and tonight there is no work to be done. From here, the view is extraordinary in its quietness. The train curves gently along the edge of a long, dark valley, and below you, far below, made tiny by distance and rain, there is a lock. You can see its surface, flat and still and black as polished obsidian, reflecting nothing because the clouds are too low and the night is too deep for reflections. But it is there, ancient and patient and utterly calm, the way deep water always is, holding its depths without effort, without display, without needing anyone to notice or admire. It has been here for thousands of years. It will be here for thousands more. It is not going anywhere. And neither are you. The rain intensifies for a moment, not dramatically, just a gentle surge, the way a sleeping person's breathing might deepen for a few breaths before settling again. And you hear it drumming more heavily on the glass above you, each drop distinct for a second before merging back into the steady, collective sound of rain being rain. Then it eases again, back to its steady, faithful pattern. You rest your head against the side of the chair and watch the rain trails on the window, and the dark mountains beyond, and the occasional faint light in the distance. And you feel something you haven't felt in a very long time. The complete and total absence of urgency. There is nothing to check. Nothing to answer. Nothing to decide. The train rocks. The rain falls. And you are here, warm and soft and safe, watching the world go slowly, slowly by. A small side table sits between the chairs, and on it someone has placed a glass carafe of water and a small crystal tumbler and a plate of oak cakes dusted with sea salt. You pour a little water. The sound of it is clear and musical, like a tiny waterfall inside this warm, rocking room. And you take an oat cake and bite into it. The flavor is simple and earthy, oats and butter and a whisper of salt that makes you think of the sea, which is out there somewhere beyond the mountains, beyond the rain, breathing against a coastline that is also dark and peaceful and asleep. The crumbs are warm and rough on your tongue. The water is cold and clean. Everything you need is here, in this room, in this moment, and everything you don't need is somewhere else entirely, and that is exactly as it should be. You sit for a long time. Perhaps 20 minutes. Perhaps an hour. It doesn't matter. The train carries you along the edge of the valley and then into a forest, and the view through the glass changes from open darkness to the close, intimate shapes of tall pines pressing near the track, their branches dark and wet and fragrant with resin. You can almost smell them through the glass. That deep, green, ancient smell of pine forest in the rain. The smell of something that has been growing slowly and patiently for decades without ever once being in a hurry. The branches brush against the glass occasionally, a soft, whispering sound, like fingertips on fabric, and then they are gone, and the forest opens again, and there is another valley, another loch, another set of mountains, and the rain continues, and the train rocks, and you are here, and you are warm, and you are safe, and the night stretches out ahead of you like a road made of soft, dark velvet, going nowhere and everywhere and asking nothing at all. After a while, a long while, perhaps, or no time at all, because time on this train is a river that flows at whatever speed it pleases. You rise from the velvet chair and make your way back through the corridor toward the front of the train. The motion is easy and unhurried, your hand occasionally touching the wooden rail for balance, your slippers silent on the carpet. The train sways you gently as you walk, and you find yourself matching your steps to its rhythm, not because you have to, but because it feels natural, like walking in time with music that has always been playing, music that was written for exactly this kind of night, this kind of journey. You pass through another glass door, heavier this time, with a brass handle worn smooth by 1,000 palms, and as it opens you catch a new scent, warm bread, and butter, and something sweet. Honey, perhaps, or marmalade made from Seville oranges. The smell wraps around you like an arm around a shoulder, and you follow it into the dining car. The dining car is long and elegant and very, very quiet. The tables are set with white linen tablecloths, each one smooth and bright in the soft light, ironed into a crispness that speaks of care and ritual and someone who takes pride in small perfections. Someone who understands that a perfectly laid table is not a luxury but a form of welcome. On each table, a single candle sits in a glass holder, its flame barely moving, burning with that steady, golden patience that only a candle can offer. The patience of something that knows its purpose and fulfills it without ambition, without complaint, without ever needing to be anything other than what it is. The cutlery is silver, heavy and polished, catching the candlelight in tiny, warm flashes. There are small glass vases with sprigs of heather, real heather, gathered from the hillsides somewhere along the route, purple and gray and delicate as lace. The windows here are framed by dark green curtains, pulled back with gold rope ties, and beyond them the rain continues its steady, faithful work against the glass. The car is empty. You're the only one awake, it seems, or at least the only one who has wandered this far from their compartment at this hour. But it doesn't feel lonely. It feels like being given the whole world for an evening, like having a grand old hotel all to yourself, with no need to share the silence with anyone else unless you choose to. The solitude is not an absence. It is a gift. It is the gift of not needing to perform, not needing to make conversation, not needing to arrange your face into any particular expression or your thoughts into any particular order. You can simply be here, in this beautiful room, with the candles and the rain and the white linen, and that is enough. You sit down at a table near the window, running your fingers over the smooth linen. The fabric is thick and cool, with that satisfying weight that good table linen has. The kind you can feel was ironed by someone who cares about such things. Someone who understands that a perfectly smooth tablecloth is a way of saying, "This space has been prepared for you. You are expected. You are welcome." The candle flame flickers once, gently, as if acknowledging your arrival, and then steadies. You look out the window. The landscape has changed. The mountains are closer now, or perhaps the valley has narrowed, and you can see the dark slopes rising steeply on either side of the train, covered in heather and bracken and ancient rock, though in the dark and the rain they are just shapes, just soft dark forms against a slightly less dark sky. And there is something deeply comforting about not being able to see clearly, about letting the world be blurred and undefined and mysterious, about not needing to bring anything into focus. A figure appears at the far end of the dining car. An older man in a white jacket, the steward, you realize, moving with the unhurried calm of someone who has spent decades on trains and has never once been in a rush. He has the easy, settled posture of someone who is exactly where he wants to be, doing exactly what he wants to do, and the sight of him fills you with a warmth that has nothing to do with temperature. He walks toward you with an easy smile, carrying a small silver tray. On the tray is a pot of tea, steam rising from its spout in a slow, lazy curl, a small jug of cream, a bowl of golden honey with a wooden dipper, and 2 shortbread biscuits on a china plate painted with tiny blue thistles. "I thought you might like something warm," he says quietly, setting the tray on the table with a practiced gentleness that makes not a sound. His voice is soft, Scottish, musical, the kind of voice that sounds like it was built for telling stories by a fire, for singing old ballads that everyone knows the words to, for saying good night to grandchildren. "There's no rush," he adds, and his eyes crinkle at the corners the way eyes do when the smile goes deeper than the face, when it comes from somewhere inside that is always smiling. "We won't arrive until long after morning. You have all the time in the world." He nods once, warmly, and moves away toward the far end of the car, where you see him settle into a chair by the door, opening a small book he has pulled from his jacket pocket. He does not check his watch. He does not look busy or distracted or restless. He simply reads, and occasionally lifts his eyes to watch the rain on the glass, and he seems entirely, perfectly content. A man who has found his place in the world and needs nothing more from it, who has understood something that most people spend their entire lives trying to learn. That being present, being still, being right here in this moment with a book and the rain and the quiet, is not a small thing but the biggest thing of all. You pour the tea. The sound of it filling the cup is one of the loveliest sounds in the world. A warm, liquid, musical sound that speaks of comfort and ritual and time that has been set aside for nothing but this. The tea is dark and rich, almost the color of the mahogany panels on the walls, and steam rises from it in slow, beautiful curls. You add a little cream. It blooms in the dark tea like a cloud forming in a honey-colored sky, swirling slowly, taking its time, in no hurry to dissolve. You dip the wooden honey dipper into the bowl and let a thin thread of gold twist into the tea, watching it spiral down through the cream like liquid sunlight, and then you stir, slowly, watching the cream and honey dissolve into a warm, smooth amber. You lift the cup. The porcelain is thin and warm against your lips. The first sip is perfect, sweet, floral, smooth, with that particular warmth that seems to reach not just your throat but your whole chest, spreading outward like the light from a candle, like the warmth of a hand held over a fire, like the feeling of coming home after a very long time away. The honey is there, golden and gentle. The chamomile is there, calm and green and soft. And there is something else, something you cannot name, something that tastes like this moment itself. The rain and the train and the candlelight and the white linen and the sleeping world outside and the absolute, perfect freedom of having nowhere to be and nothing to do and no one to be except exactly who you are right now. You pick up one of the shortbread biscuits. It crumbles softly between your fingers before you even bite into it, and when you do, the taste is butter and sugar and a whisper of vanilla. So simple and so good that you close your eyes for a moment and just let it be what it is. The crumbs fall onto the white linen like tiny golden stars, and you do not brush them away, because there is no need, because nothing here needs to be tidy or efficient or cleaned up or perfected. Everything here is allowed to be exactly as it is. You sit with your tea and your biscuit and your rain and your candle, and you watch the Highlands passing outside the window, and you think about nothing. Not in the way you sometimes try to think about nothing and end up thinking about everything, but genuinely, honestly, peacefully nothing. The thoughts that were circling earlier, the half-formed worries, the fragments of to-do lists, the echoes of the day's conversations, they have drifted away somewhere. the way clouds drift away from a mountain peak, not because someone chased them but because the wind simply carried them elsewhere. And what is left is this: warmth, softness, sweetness, rain, light, motion, rest. The train slows, not stopping, just easing its pace, the way a river slows when it reaches a wide, flat plain. You feel the change in rhythm before you hear it, the clacking of the wheels stretching out, the gaps between beats growing a little longer, a little lazier, as if the train itself has decided there is no reason to hurry through a landscape this beautiful. You look up from your tea and see, through the rain-streaked window, that the landscape has opened up into something vast and breathtaking and utterly still. The train is crossing a viaduct. A great stone viaduct that arches high above a deep valley, and below you, far below, the land falls away into darkness and mist. You can see the tops of pine trees, dark and pointed, standing in neat rows along the valley floor like a congregation of silent monks, and beyond them a river, narrow and silver and winding, catching what little light the clouds allow and turning it into a thin, bright thread that stitches its way through the dark earth. The viaduct stretches ahead of you in a long, graceful curve, its stone pillars disappearing into the rain like the legs of some ancient, patient creature that has stood in this valley since before anyone thought to lay railway tracks across its back. You set your teacup down and lean closer to the window. The glass is cold near its surface. You can feel the chill radiating from it, a pleasant counterpoint to the warmth behind you. And the rain is running down the outside in dozens of tiny streams, each one a small, meandering journey from somewhere to somewhere else. Through the water, the valley below looks soft and blurred, like a watercolor painting of itself, all muted greens and grays and the faintest purple of heather, and you feel as if you are floating above it all, suspended between the clouds and the earth, safe in this warm, rocking carriage that carries you gently through the air. The valley is enormous, and for several minutes, long, quiet, unhurried minutes that feel like hours and seconds at the same time, the train crosses it in near silence. Just the steady rhythm of the wheels on the stone bridge and the rain on the glass and the faint, distant sound of wind in the valley below. A sound so large and so soft it is almost not a sound at all but a feeling. The feeling of space, of openness, of the world breathing slowly in its sleep. You watch the pine trees pass beneath you, and the river, and a small stone shepherd's bothy standing alone in a meadow with no light in its window and no smoke from its chimney. Just a small, solid shape in the enormous landscape, weathering the rain the way it has weathered rain for 100 years. Untroubled, undramatic, entirely at peace. It does not need to be anything other than what it is. It does not need to be larger, or newer, or more impressive. It is simply there, stone and mortar and silence, doing the one thing it was built to do. Standing, enduring, being shelter for whoever might need it, whenever they might come. On the far hillside, you notice something moving. Slowly. So slowly that at first you think it might be a trick of the rain on the glass, a shifting of shadows. But no, it is a small flock of sheep, their white shapes just barely visible against the dark bracken, moving together with that gentle, communal patience that sheep have. No leader, no follower, just a group of warm creatures finding their way toward shelter in the rain. They are in no hurry. They do not seem bothered by the weather, or by the hour, or by the enormous night around them. They are simply doing what they do, being, and moving, and trusting that the night will hold them safe. And watching them, you feel a kinship that surprises you, a recognition that you, too, are simply a warm creature moving gently through the dark, looking for shelter, looking for rest, and that there is nothing more required of you than that. The train reaches the far side of the viaduct and the land rises to meet it again, the pine trees closing in on either side like a welcoming party, their branches heavy with rain, dripping steadily onto the carpet of needles below. You feel the slight shift as the train moves from stone back to earth. The sound changes too, softer, more cushioned, the way a voice sounds different in a room with rugs on the floor, warmer, closer, more intimate. You settle back into your chair and lift your tea again, and it is still warm, somehow, as if this tea, like everything else on this train, exists outside the normal rules of time and temperature and obligation. The valley beneath the viaduct is vast and gentle, a great green bowl carved by glaciers millennia ago and softened by centuries of rain and wind and the slow, patient work of grass and heather reclaiming every inch of stone. In the fading light, you can see the shapes of ancient field walls, low and mossy, running in patterns that follow the contours of the land rather than the straight lines of modern thinking. Walls built by people who understood that the land had its own logic and that the wisest thing a person could do was listen to it, follow it, work with it rather than against it. A thin stream threads its way along the valley floor, barely visible from this height, its water dark with peat, moving so slowly that it seems not to be moving at all, but simply existing, a silver line drawn across the green, connecting one hillside to another, one rain shower to the next, one season to the one that follows. The stream does not hurry. It does not need to arrive anywhere. It simply moves, and the moving is enough. The way you're breathing is enough. The way this train ride is enough. The way this quiet evening, with its rain and its mist and its vast, unhurried beauty, is more than enough. A sheep stands in the rain near the street, perfectly still, unbothered, its wool darkened with moisture. A small white boulder in the green. It does not look up as the train passes overhead. It does not flinch at the sound of the wheels on the viaduct stones. It has seen trains before, and rain before, and evenings like this before, and it knows. In the way that animals know things without words, without thinking, without the elaborate machinery of human worry, that there is nothing here to fear, nothing to flee from, nothing to do except stand in the rain and be a sheep in a valley in the Highlands, which is a perfectly complete and respectable thing to be. Somewhere between the dining car and your sleeping compartment, in a part of the train you hadn't noticed before, you discover a small room. It is not marked on any diagram. There is no sign above its door. It is simply there, as if the train had grown it overnight like a tree grows a new branch. Quietly, naturally, without fuss or announcement. It is a library. A tiny, perfect library, no bigger than a large cupboard, lined from floor to ceiling with books. The shelves are dark wood, mahogany, you think, though in this light everything is the color of honey and shadow. And the books are old, with cloth and leather covers in muted colors. Deep greens, burgundies, faded blues, the warm brown of oak leaves in autumn. None of them have bright dust jackets or bold titles shouting for attention. They are the kind of books that don't shout. They simply wait, patiently, on their shelves, the way good books always do, the way wise people wait, for someone to find them at exactly the right moment. There is one armchair in the room, placed beneath a small reading lamp with a green glass shade that casts a warm, soft circle of light like a small planet of its own. The chair is leather, cracked and softened by age, the color of strong tea, and it has a small footstool in front of it, also leather, also worn, also perfect. A folded wool blanket lies across one arm of the chair, tartan again but in softer colors, heather and moss and stone. As if someone knew you were coming and prepared a place for you, laid out warmth and welcome and said, "Here, this is yours. Take it, rest." You sit down. The leather sighs beneath you, a sound so human and so welcoming that you almost smile. The lamp casts its pool of warm green gold light over the armrest and the nearest shelf, and the rest of the room retreats into a friendly shadow that feels like an embrace rather than an absence. You drape the blanket over your legs. The wool is lighter than the one in your compartment but just as warm, and it smells faintly of something herbal. Rosemary, perhaps, or thyme, as if it has been stored in a drawer with dried herbs, the way grandmothers used to do, a way of caring for things that no one teaches but everyone remembers. You run your eyes along the shelves. The titles are barely legible in the dim light. Gold lettering faded to whispers on dark cloth spines. But you catch a few. Poetry collections, travel writing, natural histories of the Scottish Highlands, a guide to wildflowers, something about the tides of the Atlantic coast, a book of Gaelic place names and their meanings, a slim volume of essays about rain. You reach out and pull a book from the shelf at random. It is small and light, bound in soft blue cloth with a tiny gold thistle embossed on the cover. And when you open it, the pages are thick and cream-colored and smell of age and ink and libraries. That particular, irreplaceable smell that is part dust, part paper, part the accumulated quiet of years of nobody speaking above a whisper. Years of afternoons spent in sunlight and silence. Years of being held and opened and read and loved and put gently back on the shelf. You don't really read the book. Not properly. Your eyes are too soft for that. Too unfocused. Too ready for sleep. You let your gaze drift over the words the way your gaze might drift over the surface of a still pond, not looking for anything specific, just watching the shapes and shadows move. A phrase catches you here and there. Something about the way clouds form over the Quillan Mountains on sky. Something about the Gaelic word for the particular kind of silence that falls over a glen after snowfall. Something about the patience of stone and how a single boulder on a hillside might have been sitting in the same position for a million years, watching the seasons pass, unbothered, undisturbed. Content. And each phrase settles into you like a pebble settling to the bottom of clear water. Slowly, gently, without ripple. The clock on the shelf ticks. It is a small brass clock, round and simple, with an enamel face and hands so thin they are almost invisible. Its tick is so slow and so soft that it seems less like the sound of time passing and more like the sound of time resting, pausing between moments, in no hurry to move on to the next one. Tick. 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 Each one perfectly spaced, perfectly unhurried, like a heart beating in sleep, like a drop of water falling from a leaf into a still pool, like the footsteps of someone who has been walking a very long time and has finally decided that the destination matters less than the walk. You close the book and rest it on your lap. And you lean your head back against the leather chair, and you listen to the clock, and the rain, and the wheels, and your own breathing, and they all blend together into a single sound that is not really a sound at all but a feeling, the feeling of peace. There is a window in the library too, a small one, round like a porthole, set into the wall between two shelves. Through it you can see the rain and the dark and, now, a scattering of stars that have appeared in a gap between the clouds. Tiny, distant, patient lights in the enormous darkness. Watching the train pass the way they have watched every train, and every river, and every creature that has ever moved through this valley at night. They do not seem far away. they seem friendly. They seem like companions keeping watch while you rest, like old friends who are happy to sit in silence, who don't need conversation to know that you are well. The book rests on your lap, open, the pages soft under your hands. You are not reading anymore. You are not thinking anymore. You are simply here, in this tiny library on a train in the Scottish Highlands, surrounded by books and rain and lamplight and the gentle, endless rocking of the carriage, and you are doing absolutely nothing, and it is enough. It is more than enough. It is everything you needed tonight, even though you didn't know you needed it until this moment. Sometimes the things we need most are the things we didn't think to ask for. A quiet room, a warm blanket, a book we'll never finish, and the soft, steady sound of the world going on without us. Not because it doesn't care, but because it knows we are safe here, and it is giving us the night off. After a long time in the library, it could have been 20 minutes or 2 hours, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You set the book gently back on the shelf and rise from the leather chair. The wool blanket slides from your shoulders and you fold it loosely and drape it back over the arm of the chair, where it will wait for the next wanderer, the next person who finds their way to this hidden, perfect room at some quiet hour of some quiet night. You walk back through the corridor. It is quieter now, if that is possible. The lamps along the walls seem to have dimmed slightly, as if the train itself is settling in for the night, lowering its voice, softening its edges, pulling the darkness in a little closer the way you might pull a blanket up to your chin. The carpet absorbs your footsteps completely. The rain on the glass beside you is a companion that will not leave, that has been with you since the beginning of this journey and will be with you until the end, faithful and constant and asking nothing in return. You pass the dining car. Through the glass door, you can see the candles still burning, smaller now, the flames barely moving, drowsy and golden, the white linen tablecloths glowing like fields of fresh snow in the warm light. The steward is no longer reading. He has fallen asleep in his chair by the door, his book resting open on his chest, rising and falling with his breathing. And there is something so deeply peaceful about the sight of him. This gentle man in his white jacket, asleep at his post, untroubled, unhurried, trusting the night to take care of itself. That you feel a warmth in your chest that has nothing to do with tea. It is the warmth of recognition. The warmth of seeing someone who has given themselves permission to rest, and realizing that if he can do it, this man whose job it is to serve and attend and stay awake, then perhaps you can too. Perhaps rest is not something you earn. Perhaps it is something you are given, freely, every night, by the simple fact of being alive and tired and in need of softness. You reach your compartment and open the door. Everything is as you left it. The wool blanket on the bed. The amber lamplight. The tea, cooled now, but the cup still resting on its saucer with the patience of something that has been waiting and does not mind. The rain on the window, steady and gentle, the same rain, always the same rain, falling on the same glass in the same beautiful, meaningless, comforting pattern. You slip off the slippers and slide back into bed. The sheets are cool against your feet for a moment, and then they warm, quickly, eagerly, as if the bed has been waiting for you, and the wool blanket is there, heavy and soft, and you pull it up to your chin and feel it settle over you like a hand pressing gently on your chest, not holding you down but holding you together, keeping everything warm and close and safe. The pillow receives your head with an intimacy that is almost tender, reshaping itself around your ear, around the curve of your neck, knowing the exact shape of your tiredness and accommodating it without question. You reach up and turn the lamp to its lowest setting. The amber light recedes to a soft glow, barely more than a candle, barely more than a memory of light, and the compartment wraps around you in gentle shadow. The wood paneling gleams faintly, and you can see, in the very edge of your vision, the rain still moving on the window glass, each droplet catching the last of the lamplight for a fraction of a second before sliding down into the dark. The train rocks you gently, the way the sea rocks a boat at anchor, the way the wind rocks the branches of a tree, the way the earth rocks everything, always, in its slow, enormous turning that we never feel but somehow always know. You are part of this motion now. You are rocking with the train, breathing with the rain, dissolving into the warmth of the blanket and the softness of the pillow and the deep, dark, velvet peace of this Highland night. The mountains are out there. The heather is out there. The lochs and the sheep and the stone bothies and the tiny farmhouse lights are all out there, held by the same night that holds you. And none of them are worrying. None of them are planning. None of them are lying awake thinking about what they should have done differently or what they need to do tomorrow. They are simply resting, the way everything in nature rests when the light goes down and the rain comes in and the world decides, gently and without argument, that the day is done. Your eyes are closed now. Or perhaps they have been closed for some time. It doesn't matter. What matters is this: the weight of the blanket, the rhythm of the rain, the rocking of the train, the warmth in your chest from the tea and the honey and the kindness of the steward and the beauty of the library and the patience of the mountains and the stillness of the loch. What matters is that you are here, and you are warm, and you are safe, and the night is very long, and the train is very slow, and there is nowhere in the world you need to be except exactly, Precisely, perfectly here. The train passes through a stretch of pine forest, and for a few moments the rain changes its sound. Softer here, muffled by the canopy of needles above. The drops filtered through layer upon layer of green before they reach the carriage roof, so that the rhythm becomes gentler, more diffuse, like a lullaby being hummed from very far away. The scent of pine drifts in through the ventilation, clean and sharp and ancient, the smell of forests that have stood on these hillsides since the glaciers retreated. Forests that know nothing of clocks or calendars. Forests that measure time in rings of heartwood and the slow accumulation of fallen needles on the forest floor. You pull the blanket up to your chin. The wool is soft against your skin, warm from your own body heat, and it smells faintly of the train, of polished wood and old leather and the lavender sachets that someone has placed in the linen cupboard. A small kindness performed by invisible hands. A gesture of care from someone you will never meet but who thought of you nonetheless. Thought of your comfort. Thought of this moment when you would pull the blanket close and smell the lavender and feel, in some wordless way, looked after. Your eyes grow heavier. The amber lamp throws its circle of warm light across the compartment ceiling, and you watch the shadows there. Soft, slow-moving shadows cast by the rain on the window. Shapes that mean nothing and say nothing and ask nothing. Shapes that simply drift and merge and dissolve. Like thoughts at the edge of sleep. Present but undemanding. Passing through without stopping. Without leaving a mark. The steward's breathing from the next compartment is barely audible through the wall. A soft, rhythmic whisper, like waves on a distant shore, like wind through long grass, like the train itself breathing, in and out, in and out, the whole train breathing together, all its passengers breathing together, all its wheels turning together. A single living thing moving through the Highland night, carrying its sleeping cargo with infinite tenderness through the rain and the dark. Beyond the dining car, through a narrow passage you had not explored before, there is a door that stands slightly ajar. Through the gap comes warmth. Real warmth. The kind that rises from ovens and stoves and pots of things that have been simmering for hours. And a smell so comforting, so deeply, achingly familiar, that it stops you mid-step and makes you close your eyes and breathe it in. It is the smell of baking. Of bread, or scones, or something close to both. Something made from flour and butter and salt and the kind of care that cannot be rushed. You push the door open, gently, and step into the kitchen car. It is smaller than you expected, and warmer, and more beautiful. The walls are tiled in white ceramic, slightly uneven, the kind of tile that was laid by hand decades ago and has been cleaned so many times that the glaze has worn thin in places, showing the warm biscuit color of the clay beneath. There is a large wooden table in the center, flour-dusted, scarred by years of rolling and kneading and cutting, and on it sit 4 small loaves of bread, golden brown and steaming, fresh from the oven, their crusts cracked in that perfect way that bread has when it has been baked at exactly the right temperature by someone who knows, in their hands and not just their head, how long is long enough. A woman stands at the far end of the kitchen, her back to you, arranging something on a cooling rack. She is not young and not old, and she wears a white apron over a blue dress, and her sleeves are rolled to the elbows, and her hands are strong and capable and dusted with flour, and she hums as she works. The tune is one you almost recognize, something old, something wordless, something that sounds like it has been handed down through generations of women who baked bread in kitchens like this, on trains like this, in nights like this, and who hummed the same tune without ever being taught it, as if it lived in their hands rather than their mouths, as if the rhythm of kneading had become a kind of music. She turns and sees you, and she smiles, not surprised, not startled, just pleased, the way you might be pleased to see a robin land on your windowsill, something small and welcome and entirely expected. She does not ask what you are doing here. She does not ask if you need anything. She simply reaches for a small plate, places one of the warm loaves upon it, adds a curl of golden butter from a dish on the table and a small pot of honey, and sets it on the corner of the table nearest to you. "It's just out of the oven," she says, her voice as warm and round as the bread itself, with the soft edges of an accent you cannot quite place. Highland, perhaps, or somewhere further north. Somewhere where people have been making bread and telling stories and listening to rain for longer than anyone can remember. Best while it's still warm. You tear the bread. It comes apart in your hands with a soft, yielding resistance, the inside cloud white and steaming, the crust thin and crackled and perfect. You spread the butter and it melts instantly, sinking into the warm crumb, disappearing into it the way the rain disappears into the earth, becoming part of it, enriching it, making it more completely itself. You drizzle honey from the small pot, watching the golden thread spiral down onto the buttered bread, cooling in the tiny valleys of the crumb, catching the kitchen light like liquid amber. You take a bite. And the taste, oh, the taste. It is the simplest thing in the world and the most extraordinary. Bread and butter and honey. 3 things that have been feeding people since before there were trains or books or clocks. 3 things that have always meant warmth and shelter and the end of hunger. 3 things that taste, on this night, on this train, in this warm kitchen with its flour-dusted table and its humming baker. like the very essence of comfort. The bread is soft and warm and slightly sweet from the honey, and the butter is rich and salt-edged and melting. And together they create a taste that is less a flavor than a feeling. The feeling of being fed, of being cared for, of someone taking the time to make something beautiful and simple and giving it to you without asking for anything in return. You eat slowly, sitting on a wooden stool by the table, watching the baker work, listening to her hum, feeling the warmth of the kitchen on your face and hands, the flour dust in the air catching the light like tiny stars. She does not try to make conversation. She does not fill the silence with chatter or questions. She simply works, and hums, and occasionally glances at you with that warm, unsurprised smile, as if your presence is as natural and as welcome as the rain on the roof, as the flour on the table, as the bread in the oven. When the bread is gone, you brush the crumbs from your fingers and stand. The baker nods to you, a small, warm nod, the kind that means everything and says nothing, the kind that two strangers exchange when they have shared a space in comfortable silence and understood each other perfectly without a single unnecessary word. You nod back. And then you leave the kitchen car, carrying with you the warmth of the bread and the sweetness of the honey and the quiet, steady peace of a woman who knows how to make something good and gives it freely, without expectation, without performance, without anything at all except the simple, ancient pleasure of feeding someone who is hungry and tired and far from home. The train is slowing again. More than before. The rhythm of the wheels changes from its steady gallop to something more deliberate, more measured, the way footsteps change when you are walking through a place you want to remember, a place so beautiful or so strange that you want your body to record it, step by slow step. You open your eyes, or perhaps they were never fully closed. Perhaps they have been half open this whole time. Watching the world through lashes. The way you watch a dream you don't want to end. And through the rain-streaked window you see that the train is pulling alongside a tiny platform. It is the smallest station you have ever seen. It appears out of the darkness like something from a story, like something you imagined and then discovered was real. There is a single wooden bench, old and green and wet with rain, sitting beneath a small iron canopy that does nothing at all to keep the rain off the bench but gives the station a sense of purpose, a sense of dignity, as if even the smallest and most forgotten places in the world deserve a roof. Even a small one. Even one that leaks. There is a hanging basket of flowers. You cannot tell what kind in the dark, but you imagine they are purple and white and dripping with rainwater, their petals heavy and nodding. There is a hand-painted sign in faded green letters that you cannot quite read through the rain, but you know, somehow, that it spells the name of a place that very few people have heard of and even fewer have visited. A place that exists mostly for the pleasure of existing, the way a wildflower exists, the way a song you hum to yourself exists. Not for anyone else, just for itself. The train does not stop here. There is no one waiting on the platform. There is no reason to stop. But it slows to nearly a walking pace, as if the driver, too, loves this little station, as if passing it at speed would be a kind of disrespect. The way you might slow your walk when passing a sleeping animal or a child's drawing chalk on a pavement. You watch the platform slide past your window, the bench, the flowers, the sign, the small iron canopy with its beaded curtain of rain, and something in your chest opens gently, like a flower opening, like a fist unclenching, like a door that has been closed for a long time swinging softly open to reveal a room full of light. There is a lamp post on the platform, and it is lit. A single warm globe of light, surrounded by rain and mist and the enormous darkness of the Highland night, burning steadily, faithfully, for no one. For no one at all. Just burning because that is what it does, because someone, at some point, decided that even this tiny, forgotten platform in the middle of nowhere deserved light, deserved the warmth and the comfort of a single lamp in the dark. And you look at it, this small, brave, unnecessary light, and you think that there is something beautiful about things that continue without an audience, things that glow without being seen, things that do their work quietly and patiently and without any expectation of applause or recognition. The lamp does not know you are watching. It would burn just as brightly if you were not here at all. The platform passes behind you and the train eases back into its rhythm, the wheels finding their tempo again, the rocking returning to its gentle, pendular sway. The darkness closes in around the train once more, and the little station disappears into the mist and the rain as if it had never been there at all. As if it had been a dream or a wish or a memory of a place you visited in a past life. So long ago you cannot be sure it was real. But it was real. The bench was real. The flowers were real. The lamp was real. And something about seeing it, something about the smallness of it, the quietness of it, the way it existed without apology or explanation in the vast darkness of the Highland night, has made you feel something you didn't expect to feel. A gentleness toward the world. A tenderness for all the small, overlooked, unremarkable things that go on quietly doing what they do while nobody watches. A recognition that you, too, are one of those things. Someone who goes on, day after day, doing the work of living, without applause, without fanfare, and that this is not a failure but a kind of grace. The train carries you onward. through a cutting in the hills where the rock rises high on either side and the rain runs down the stone walls in thin silver streams. Through a wide glen where the land opens up and the sky seems enormous and the clouds have parted just enough to let a pale wash of moonlight fall across a field of bracken, turning it silver. Through a forest of birch trees, their white trunks ghostly in the dark, their leaves long gone to autumn, their bare branches reaching upward like delicate hands, holding nothing, asking for nothing, just reaching, just being. You watch it all from behind the rain-streaked glass, wrapped in your blanket, warm and still and quiet, and each scene that passes is like a page turning in a book you do not need to understand. A book written in a language older than words. A language of shapes and shadows and the slow, steady patience of things that have been here for a very, very long time. And then the landscape softens again. The mountains recede. The trees thin. And through the rain you see, in the far distance, the faintest suggestion of the sea. Not the sea itself, but the idea of it, a lightness on the horizon. A silver line where the sky meets something flatter and wider and older than the land. You cannot smell it yet, but you can feel it. A change in the air, a softness, a saltiness, as if the sea is breathing somewhere out there in the dark, its enormous lungs filling and emptying with the tide, slow and regular and ancient and calm. The train does not go to the sea. It turns inland again, curving back into the hills, and the silver line on the horizon fades and is gone. But knowing it was there, knowing the sea is out there, vast and patient and asleep beneath its blanket of rain and cloud and moonlight, gives you a feeling of peace so deep it is almost physical, almost like warmth, almost like being held. The world is so large, and so old, and so full of beautiful things that ask nothing of you, and you are so small, and so warm, and so safe in this rocking, rain-washed train, and the night is so long, and so gentle, and so perfectly, perfectly still. The platform is made of old stone, worn smooth by decades of footsteps, and between the cracks, small tufts of grass have pushed through, determined and gentle, living their quiet lives in the gaps between human intention and natural patience. A wooden bench sits against the station wall, its paint long since faded to a soft, uncertain gray, and on the bench sits a cushion, a small, embroidered cushion, placed there by someone who understood that even in the most remote and rarely visited places, there should be something soft to sit upon, something that says, "Someone thought of you, someone cared that you might pass through here, someone wanted you to be comfortable even for a moment." The name board on the platform is hand-painted, the letters a faded green on cream, and you cannot quite read the name from the train. It might be Gaelic, it might be Scots, it might be a word from a language older than either, A word that simply means this place, this valley, this particular bend in the track where the train slows and the hills open up and the sky is wider than anywhere else you have ever been. It does not matter what the station is called. What matters is that it exists, here, in the rain, in the dark, with its single lamp and its wooden bench and its embroidered cushion, a small human gesture of welcome in the vast Highland emptiness. Beyond the platform, through the rain, you can just see the faint silver line of the sea. Or is it a lock? In this light, at this distance, through this much rain, it is impossible to tell, and the impossibility is itself a comfort, because it means there is still mystery in the world. There are still things you do not need to know, still questions you do not need to answer, still distances you do not need to close. The silver line shimmers and the rain falls upon it and the train begins to move again, slow and sure, pulling away from the tiny station, carrying you onward into the night. The train is slower now. You can feel it in the way the world moves past the window. Not that you can see much anymore, not that you are looking, but you can feel the gentle deceleration in your body. The way the rocking has softened into something barely there. The way the rhythm has stretched. The spaces between sounds growing wider, like the spaces between stars. The world outside is not dark. It is deep. There is a difference. Dark is the absence of light, but deep is the presence of something else. Something warm, something held, something layered and rich and full. The Highland night is deep in the way that sleep is deep, in the way that a well-loved blanket is deep, in the way that the best kind of quiet is deep, not empty but full. Full of rest, full of peace, full of the kind of stillness that is not the end of movement but the purpose of it, the place that all movement is trying to reach. You are deep now too. Deep in the blankets, deep in the compartment, deep in the train, deep in the Highlands, deep in the night. Layer upon layer of holding. The blanket holds you, and the bed holds the blanket, and the compartment holds the bed, and the train holds the compartment, and the valley holds the train, and the mountains hold the valley, and the night holds the mountains, and something vast and nameless and infinitely gentle holds the night, holds all of it, holds everything, holds you. Your body is heavy, beautifully heavy. The kind of heavy that is not weight but surrender, not tiredness but trust. Every Every muscle has made its decision. Every limb has found its place. You are arranged perfectly, not because someone arranged you, but because your body knows, has always known, how to find rest when rest is offered. Your body is wise. Your body has been carrying you all day, through doors and conversations and hallways and decisions, and now your body is setting you down, gently, the way you might set down a sleeping child, with exquisite care, with tenderness, with the understanding that this is the most important work of the day. Not the doing but the undoing, not the carrying but the setting down. The rain is quieter too. Not stopping. Never stopping. But gentler, as if it has been falling for so long that it has forgotten how to fall any other way. As if falling gently is now the only thing it knows how to do. It whispers against the glass. It taps, softly, like fingertips on a tabletop, idle and dreamy and without purpose. You are warm. That is the truest thing in the world right now. You are warm, and the blanket is heavy, and the pillow is soft, and the train is carrying you somewhere you do not need to know. The destination does not matter. It has never mattered. What matters is this warmth, this weight, this slow, sweet heaviness that has settled over you like dusk settles over a valley, like snow settles over a field, quietly, softly, covering everything in a gentle, white, unbothered peace. The mountains outside are sleeping. You know this the way you know things in dreams, not because you have seen evidence, but because it is simply true. The way the ground is solid and the sky is deep and the rain is wet. The mountains are sleeping. Their great, dark shoulders have relaxed. Their peaks are hidden in clouds, and the clouds are sleeping too, resting on the hilltops like blankets on a child. The heather is sleeping, its purple flowers closed for the night, its stems bending in the rain, not resisting, just bending, the way wise things bend when the wind blows. Not because they are weak, but because they know that bending is not breaking, that yielding is not giving up, that the softest things are often the strongest. The lock is sleeping. Its surface is still, dark glass. and whatever lives beneath it. Ancient things, patient things, things that have never needed to hurry. They are sleeping too, drifting in the cold, dark, silent water, dreaming their slow, deep dreams of centuries and stone and the weight of water above them, holding them, cradling them. The sheep are sleeping, huddled together in the bracken on the hillside, their wool wet with rain but their bodies warm beneath, sharing heat the way all warm creatures share heat. Without thinking, without asking, just because it is what bodies do when the night is long and the rain is soft and the world is very, very quiet. The steward is sleeping. His book has slipped from his chest and lies open on the floor beside his chair, its pages facing up, and even the words on those pages are sleeping, resting quietly on the paper, waiting for someone to read them in the morning, in no hurry. In no hurry at all. The candles in the dining car have burned down to small blue flames, and they are sleeping too, barely awake, barely there, just enough light to remind the darkness that it is not alone, that even in the deepest night there is always a small, warm point of light somewhere, always a flicker. Always a gentle refusal to go completely dark. The books in the library are sleeping. Their covers are closed. Their stories are resting between the pages, the characters still, the landscapes frozen in their gentle descriptions, the plots paused mid-sentence, mid-paragraph, mid-thought. They do not mind. Stories are patient things. They have all the time in the world. And you are here, still here, still warm, still held by the train and the night and the rain and the blanket and the pillow and the slow, deep rhythm that has become your own breathing, or your own breathing has become it, and it doesn't matter which because they are the same now, the same gentle, easy, unhurried rise and fall, like the tide, like the wind, like the hills themselves, rising and falling across the landscape in their ancient, patient, never-ending rhythm. You have done enough today. You have done more than enough. Whatever was asked of you, whatever you gave, whatever you accomplished or didn't accomplish, Whatever you finished or left unfinished, it was enough. It has always been enough. And now the only thing being asked of you is this: rest. Just rest. That is all. That is everything. That is the whole of the night's request, and it is the easiest request in the world. And you are already doing it, already fulfilling it, already answering with every breath and every heartbeat and every moment that you lie here, warm and still and safe. The train sways. The rain falls. Your body is heavy, warm, liquid, as if the boundaries between you and the bed have dissolved, and you are sinking, not down, but into softness, into warmth, into the deep, quiet center of the night, where everything is still, where everything is held, where everything rests. The window is dark. Or perhaps the window is gone. Perhaps there are no windows and no walls and no train and no mountains. Only this warmth, only this weight, only this breathing that breathes you, this rhythm that rocks you, this darkness that is not the absence of light but the presence of rest, the presence of peace, the presence of the night saying, I have you. You are safe. Let go. The rain continues. It has always been raining. It will always be raining. Not in the way that sad things continue, but in the way that good things continue, steadily, faithfully, without drama, without end. The sound is so familiar now that it is not a sound anymore. It is a texture. It is the texture of the night, woven from water and glass and distance and darkness. It is the fabric of this rest, and you are wrapped in it, completely, gently, warmly. Your hands are warm. Your feet are warm. Your face is warm. Every part of you that carried the day, that worked and worried and held on and pushed through and kept going even when it wanted to stop, is now released. Is now resting. Is now being held by something larger and gentler and older than any worry you have ever had. You are safe here. You have always been safe here. This train, this night, this rain. They are not going anywhere without you. And they are not going anywhere at all. They are simply here. And you are simply here. And that is all there needs to be. Soft. Everything is soft now. The light behind your eyelids is soft, a warm amber glow that has no source, that comes from nowhere and everywhere. That is the color of rest itself. The sound of the rain is soft. The rocking of the train is soft. The wool against your skin is soft. Even your thoughts, what few remain, are soft, round and blurred and warm, like pebbles worn smooth by a river that has been running for 10,000 years, asking nothing, going nowhere, just running, gently, softly, over stone. The heather is sleeping. The loch is sleeping. The stars, hidden above the clouds, are sleeping. The stone viaduct is sleeping, its arches cradling the valley the way your bed cradles you. The tiny farmhouse is sleeping, its windows dark, its chimney cold, its door locked against nothing because nothing here needs locking. The sheep are sleeping, wool against wool. The steward is sleeping, breath against book. The candle flames have gone out, and even the smoke from them is sleeping. A thin thread of gray curling into nothing, into warmth, into the air itself. And the train carries you. Slowly. So slowly. Through the dark, through the rain, through the mountains and the valleys and the forests and the empty places where nothing lives but heather and stone and the wind. And the rain holds you. And the night enfolds you. And you are warm. And you are still. And you are resting, deeply, fully, completely, the way you were always meant to rest. The way everything in the world rests when it has done what it came to do and the night says, enough. You have done enough. You are enough. Rest now. Nothing needs to happen now. Nothing at all. You are enough. You have always been enough. And tonight, you do not need to be anything at all. Tonight, you are simply here, breathing, resting, dissolving gently into the warmth and the dark and the soft, unending music of the rain on the glass of a train that is carrying you, gently, slowly, safely, through the most beautiful night in the world. The train is barely moving now. Or maybe it has stopped. Or maybe you have stopped, and the world is the thing that is moving, slowly, gently, turning around you as you lie at its quiet, warm center. It does not matter. It has never mattered less. You are here. The rain is here. The night is here. And that is everything. Rest now. Rest. The rain is your blanket. The night is your pillow. The train is your cradle. And the morning is very, very far away. The corridor is sleeping. The carpet is sleeping. The brass lamps have dimmed to the faintest possible glow. Orange embers in the darkness. Barely enough to see by. Just enough to know that you are not alone. That the train is still here. Still carrying you. Still rocking you. Still faithful. The kitchen is sleeping. The flour on the table is sleeping. The baker has gone to rest somewhere in the warm, dark interior of the train, and the bread she made, the bread you tasted, the bread that was butter and honey and warmth and kindness, has become a memory, and the memory is sleeping too, curled up inside you like a small warm animal, breathing softly, needing nothing. The tiny station is sleeping. The lamp post on the platform still burns, its single globe of light surrounded by rain and darkness. But even the light seems drowsy now, softer, less bright, as if it too has decided that tonight is a night for rest, a night for doing only what is necessary and no more, a night for burning gently, steadily, without ambition or urgency, just enough light to say, I am here. You are not alone. That is all. And the viaduct is sleeping, its great stone arches spanning the valley in the dark, holding nothing but air and rain and the memory of every train that has ever crossed it, every passenger who has ever looked down into the valley and felt, for a moment, the way you feel right now, small and warm and held and grateful and deeply, profoundly at peace. The whole world is sleeping. The whole world has decided, together, without discussion, without argument, that this is enough. That the day is done. That whatever was left undone can wait. That whatever was left unsaid can be said tomorrow, or the day after, or never, because some things do not need to be said at all. They just need to be felt. The way you are feeling this night, this warmth, this rest, this slow, sweet, boundless peace. You are in your compartment. You have always been in your compartment. The wandering through the train, the observation car, the dining car, the library, the kitchen. All of it is folding inward now, becoming quiet, becoming still, the way a garden folds inward at dusk. Each flower closing its petals one by one, not in sadness but in trust. Trusting that the morning will come and the petals will open again, but for now, closing is the right thing. The good thing. The only thing that needs to happen. Your pillow is soft. So soft. The kind of soft that makes you wonder how you ever rested your head on anything less gentle. The cotton is cool against your cheek and then warm, warming to match you, becoming part of you. The boundary between your skin and the fabric dissolving until you cannot tell where you end and the pillow begins. And that is fine, that is good. Because tonight the boundaries are soft. Tonight everything is allowed to blur, to merge, to become one continuous field of warmth and quiet and rest. The blanket rises and falls with your breathing. In and out. In and out. Each breath slower than the last. Each breath deeper. Each breath more like the land outside, vast and unhurried, moving at the pace of mountains, the pace of rivers wearing smooth the stones in their beds, the pace of heather growing on hillsides that have been heather covered for 1,000 years, slow and steady and in no hurry whatsoever to become anything other than what they already are. You are warm. That is all. You are warm and you are lying down and the train is rocking you and the rain is singing to you and the night is holding you. You are warm the way bread is warm when it comes out of the oven. You are warm the way tea is warm when it is held in both hands. You are warm the way light is warm when it comes through amber glass. You are warm the way the earth is warm, deep down, beneath the rain and the heather and the stone. Warm at the center. Warm at the core. Warm in the place where nothing changes and nothing needs to change. The rain is not falling. The rain is floating. Drifting downwards so slowly that each drop is a tiny world, a tiny globe of light catching the faintest glow from the train's windows, falling and never quite arriving, suspended in the dark the way you are suspended in this moment, between waking and sleeping, between here and there, between the day that was and the day that will be, floating in the warm, dark, gentle space between. And the train whispers, not in words, in rhythm, in the soft, repeated syllable of its wheels on the track, a sound so constant and so steady that it has become part of the silence, the way a heartbeat is part of the silence of a sleeping body, always there, always faithful, always saying the same thing. I am here. I am here. I am here. Somewhere in the Highland darkness, a lock is reflecting nothing. Its surface is black and still and perfectly smooth, a mirror showing only the night to the night, and the night is pleased with what it sees, because what it sees is nothing that needs to be changed, nothing that needs to be fixed, nothing that needs to be done. The night sees itself and is content. And you are content. And the train is content. And the rain on the lock is content. Each drop touching the water and becoming the water and disappearing without protest, without struggle, without a single unnecessary sound. Your eyes are closed. They have been closed for a long time, or a short time, or no time at all, because time has stopped mattering. Time has become as soft and as blurred as the landscape outside, as irrelevant as the schedule of a train that has nowhere it needs to be and no one waiting at any station and nothing to do except carry you, gently, gently, through the dark. The word for this is peace. Or the word for this is rest. Or there is no word for this at all, because the best things, the deepest things, live below language, in the body, in the breath, in the slow, sweet heaviness of eyelids that have decided, on their own, without being told, that they will not open again tonight. And that is good. That is right. That is all that needs to happen now. The clock in the library has stopped. Or perhaps it is still ticking, but so slowly now that the spaces between ticks have become silences, and the silences have become a kind of sleep, and the sleep has become a kind of forever. Time is not passing anymore. Time has gone to bed. Time has pulled its blanket up and closed its eyes and decided that tonight, just tonight, it will rest too. The wool blanket against your skin is warm. It is the warmest thing you have ever felt. Warmer than sunlight. Warmer than tea. Warmer than the feeling of being understood by someone who does not need you to explain. It is the warmth of being completely, entirely, unreservedly at rest. The warmth that comes not from any external source but from somewhere deep inside you. From the place where your body remembers what it was like to sleep as a child. Without worry. Without agenda. Without the faintest shadow of a thought about tomorrow. The pillow holds your head the way the mountains hold the clouds. Gently. Without effort. without question, as if holding you is not a task but a privilege, as if the pillow has been waiting for this moment all day, just as you have been waiting for this moment all day. And now, at last, you have both arrived at the same soft, warm, quiet place, and neither of you needs to go anywhere else ever again. The rain is so soft now. A whisper. A breath. A thought about rain rather than rain itself. It has become part of the silence rather than a break from it, woven into the fabric of the night so completely that you cannot tell where the silence ends and the rain begins. They are the same thing. They have always been the same thing. Rain is just silence that you can hear. You are dissolving, not disappearing. Dissolving. The way sugar dissolves in warm tea, not gone. Just change. Just become part of something larger and warmer and sweeter. You are dissolving into the bed, into the blanket, into the rocking of the train, into the sound of the rain, into the night itself. Your edges are softening. Your borders are blurring. You are becoming less of a person and more of a feeling. The feeling of warmth, the feeling of weight, the feeling of rest, the feeling of being held by the night in the same way the loch is held by the mountains. The same way the rain is held by the clouds. The same way the stars are held by the darkness that makes them visible. There is nothing left to do. There has never been less to do. The whole world has stopped asking, stopped expecting, stopped needing. The world has turned its face to the wall and pulled the covers over its head and is sleeping, deeply, peacefully, completely, and you are sleeping with it. Or you are about to. Or you have been sleeping for hours already and this is just the last gentle wave of consciousness before it, too, dissolves into the warm, dark, beautiful nothing of rest. Sleep now. The train will carry you. The rain will sing to you. The mountains will watch over you. The night will hold you in its arms, and when the morning comes, which it will, gently, softly, a long, long time from now, it will find you here, warm and rested and safe. and it will not wake you. Not yet. Not for a long time yet. The rain continues. You are warm. You are safe here. Sleep. The mountains hold you. Rest. Everything is soft. You are held. sleep now. Rest. Warmth. The blanket holds you. Breathing. Slow. Easy. Rain on the roof. Soft. Steady. Always. You are carried. You have always been carried. Nothing to do. The hills are dark. The water is still. The heather is sleeping beneath the rain. Safe. Warm. Held. The train moves on. your breath, the rain, the same rhythm, the same gentle, endless song. Sleep. Deep, deep sleep. The night is yours. The rest is yours. You have earned this. Every moment of it. Every soft and quiet second. rain, warmth,